Everyone. Hi, John. Thank you so much for that introduction. It's so nice to be here as part of World Logic Day. And thank you also to Chelsea and Chris for the wonderful invitation to come speak. They've been our partners for quite a few years. I think this is my fourth time participating in World Logic Day. So it's just really, really great to see how it's grown and to share about our work at the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network. So I'm going to share my screen. Just give me one second. All right, can everyone see this?
I can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is a little bit about the work we do at the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network. Mention the program I run as well as a program my other colleague Kayla Colliard also runs, and then get into a new initiative that we're really promoting to help students make more informed decisions and really promote critical thinking and systems thinking about their communities and beyond, and really taking the SDGs into action. So before we get into that program, just want to give you a little bit of context of the UN SDSN. So the UN SDSN has been operating since about 2012 under the auspices of the UN Secretary General. And our mandate is really to support the localization of the SDGs across the world and the implementation of the Paris Climate Agreement. So we have a global network of knowledge institutions, higher education institutions mainly, as well as a variety of education programs. And we do a lot of policy reports and analysis, ranking countries on how they're doing about the SDGs and how they can actually make improvements and which policies are really, pointing them in the right direction when it comes to the SDGs. So here, if you want to check out the website for the broader landscape of SDSN, you can go to resources at unsdsn.org. As I said, we have a variety of reports, not only about the SDGs broadly in general, but about specific action areas. So I heard the conversation about passion for oceans, life below water, and ocean literacy. So we have, different policy areas, one on tropical forests, one on food and land, and other different areas where we really try to promote quality research and analysis on the SDGs. Along these lines, my colleague isn't here today, Kayla, but she's always available. I'm happy to send her email and contact. But we also have a platform called SDG Academy. This is really the mission of SDG Academy is to promote open learning resources on sustainable development. So we have 49 online courses that are available for free on the different SDG topics. And it's one of the world's on one of the world's largest learning platforms, edX. And really the mission of this is to promote knowledge, logic, and learning on sustainability. And feel free to check out the QR code and go to the link to see the courses. The SDG Academy Library also has searchable video content of over 2,000 lectures by experts around the world that are focused on sustainable development. So everything from happiness and well-being to the economy to clean energy and green energy. You can find anything searching by SDG on this site if you're interested in diving into learning more about this content. So now to talk a little bit about the program that I lead, which is called the Global Schools Program. So we are focused on primary and secondary students and really promoting action for sustainability in schools. So we're a network of about 1,850 schools in 100 countries. And since launching the Global Schools Program about 5 years ago, we have reached in active direct activities 225,000 students. So it's a very diverse network, and we also really try to put teachers at the heart of our work because they're spending a lot of time with students in the classroom. And this program really started, there was a lot of surveys from UNESCO, a survey with about 60,000 teachers that found most teachers really want to be teaching sustainability in the classroom, but a lot of the times they don't have the ability because the resources are not available, they don't have the support, or they don't have relevant curriculum in their local language that actually talks about, why climate and the environment and the SDGs are relevant to that context and how they can take action in that context. So as I mentioned, we've involved a lot of students in active sustainability projects, and I just thought, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So just giving some examples of different school groups we've been working with across the world in 100 countries. So you'll see here have some examples from Nigeria, Turkey, India, Canada, Tanzania, and Peru. One of the main things we do is a teacher training program to really provide teachers, as I mentioned, with the resources and training to take sustainable development in school communities and thinking about how they can promote this knowledge and logic for the students themselves. So every year we work with about a group of 300 to 400 teachers in our international cohorts. And these teachers are trained. They receive a toolkit with a methodology for how to integrate sustainability in schools with the purpose of actually inspiring students to take action and to solve these challenges and really trying to get not only at the cognitive knowledge, how they're learning about these SDGs, but how they can really shift their mindsets and behaviors to really start approaching the world as future global citizens. So here's just some more pictures, examples of teacher training workshops. And we also do a lot of knowledge creation, which I thought was really relevant for this discussion here of a logic and promoting better logic. So we put out not only case studies that are meant to inspire other schools to take up sustainability, but also lesson plans in 14 languages and activities guides on different SDG themes. And we also host a lot of different workshops just to promote our work and to bring up the teacher and student voice at the United Nations. And that's something that's also a really big focus of our work. In Passion Area is really promoting young people in these spaces and young people having conversations with world leaders, which leads us into the program which I really wanted to showcase today called UN at Your Doorstep. So UN at Your Doorstep is a new initiative that we started in October. So this is a forum for dialogue where we are bringing world leaders and UN officials to talk on these virtual sessions, very much like today, with young people and thinking about how they can inspire them to solve the world's most greatest challenge. And a part of this program as well is really how we can promote critical thinking and better decision-making about how to take action on local problems. So here's an example of what we're trying to do, and I'll just explain a little bit about this program. So as I said, we're really trying to bring these people to engage directly with young people and high schoolers in particular. So here's just an example of the people that were either have already gotten to speak for us or we're attempting to also line them up for 2025. So our first session featured Felipe Paulier. He's the UN Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, and Richa Gupta, who's a young leader for the SDGs. The next session we had Eric Solheim. He's a former UN EP director, and Boyan Slat, who's the Dutch founder of the Ocean Cleanup. So talking about oceans again in that session. And then our third session, we had Professor Jeffrey Sachs, who's a senior advisor to the UN Secretary General, as well as Karamo Odebode, which is a Nigerian poet. And so each month we have a different theme that the students might be interested in when it comes to thinking about the SDGs, and they can hear directly from these world leaders on how to take action. Just a little plug here. Our next session is happening on January 22nd, and the theme is quality education. And this is relevant too because International Education Day is on January 24th. So exactly next Wednesday, we'll be having a session with Yasmin Sharif, who's the Executive Director of Education Cannot Wait. And Aya Mulalem, who's an engineer and founder of All Girls Code and an activist. She's currently in the US, but she's originally from Lebanon, and she does a lot of work on quality education for girls. And so how do we really promote knowledge when we're doing these sessions with students? So it's not only a one-off 1 hour Zoom session, but we're really promoting continuous engagement with these themes when it comes to working with the schools and teachers that have signed up for the program. So all the schools and teachers receive a pre-dialogue resource. And this has different systems thinking activities where they can think through the topic, where they learn about the speaker, and they get introduced to the SDG of the month. They also have the ability to submit questions to the world leaders that are upvoted, and those questions are asked to the speakers. Then they go to the dialogue itself, and they have a 60-minute exchange with the world leader. And there's interactive polls, and we're really trying to make this in a way where youth can bring up their voices and really exchange. Afterwards, educators get a post-dialogue resource to encourage students to take a social media challenge and also to take action in their communities when it comes to this SDG. And there's different discussion questions to really help them make critical decisions and use critical thinking so how they can take what they learned and put this into practice. And this is just a little more detailed slide on how the actual sessions go. So there's different interactive and engagement, as I already mentioned, and different discussion points. And one thing that's really exciting is we also have youth moderators and youth asking questions directly. So our team just introduces the session for the first 2 or 3 minutes and lets the young people then ask the questions. So our next session, we're actually going to have a 14-year-old from Brazil will be one of the moderators, and another young person from New Zealand, and another one from Germany. So we really try to bring different perspectives in as well to promote logic. And as I said, it's really based around the SDG learning framework. So for those of you that are education people as well, which I'm sure a lot of people on here are passionate about education, it's all connected to the UN SDG 2030 competencies and learning outcomes. I'm happy to share that if anyone's really interested and loves reading into those things. And here's just an example of 2 of the young people, one from Malaysia and one from South Africa, that were our moderators in a previous session. And they took over our social media in a campaign, Our Voice, Our Power, to really showcase the work that they were doing and amplify the work of other young people that submitted their projects to our social media accounts. So this is also a really great way where we can support the young people that are across 100 countries in schools by amplifying their blogs, amplifying their work, and really helping them make connections with other people, and really trying to promote education equity in some instances, and these opportunities that sometimes people in certain areas might not have the chance to interact with different leaders or to even get their projects recognized or get funding for their projects. And here are just some testimonials from the youth that have participated so far and kind of got the chance to directly engage with these leaders. So this is a quote from Malaysia, as I mentioned. This student is from Malaysia. This student is from Ireland, and then this student is from Sri Lanka. So I'll let you just read the quotes for a second. But as I'm kind of alluded to in the past, the students are mentioning that this is really a platform for them to showcase their own work, but also really be a part of the discussions and be a part of, thinking about solutions and creating this knowledge base and using logic to inform things that are happening in their own communities based on the insights of other young people and also these leaders. And lastly, I think I'm getting to the end of this formal presentation here, but always happy to open up to questions and to talk a little more about this. But all of this is informed by our Global Educator Committee for this project in particular. We have educator committees for all of our different projects that we're doing. We have one on SDG 7, one on SDG 15 in particular. But we really want to make sure that these experiences are relevant for the classroom. And so that's why we have this educator committee just informing us on the strategies, pedagogies, and curricula that we're providing to schools. And so these educators come from so many countries. I'm seeing here the US, Jordan, one's from Bolivia, one's from India, Argentina, the Philippines, the UAE, the list just goes on with the educators that are part of the committee. And to also say this project is a kind of a collaboration, and we're always looking for more collaborators, but it's hosted by the Global Schools Program and also is a partnership with Columbia University. We work a lot with different universities as well on the curriculum with different researchers, which is really exciting. And then you can see there the other programs that are supporting with different aspects, such as maybe amplification or endorsement. So we have UNESCO, IB is there, the UN Youth Office, and a variety of other organizations that we've been able to work with to really bring this program to as many students as possible. So if you're interested in kind of joining this movement for young people or just want to exchange ideas on education, please feel free to talk to me. We also have this contact here, UN at Your Doorstep at unsdsn.org. And I'll share also the links in the chat so you can check out the program even after this session. And just to say again, before I close, thank you so much to Chelsea and Chris. They've been huge supporters of us and, just great partners across the years. So I'm always so happy to, be here and speak. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing a little bit about the program UN at Your Doorstep. Also, as Amanda has shared, Kayla and Amanda with UN SDSN and UN Global Schools, they were really early believers in Chris and I, and they traveled with us to Austin. And tomorrow, for those of you that are Logic Circle members or part of our community, you'll get to see Amanda and Kayla in person, and we have a really special partnership announcement about a program that we're going to be championing specifically about logic for next gens and kids in the world that we're really excited about. So for those of you that will be there tomorrow, you'll get to hear a little bit more about that. And then for the rest of the community, we'll be sharing that out more publicly over the next few months. But I think what I've really been amazed by is just the importance of UN Global Schools and focusing also on the teachers. Most of you know that both Chris and I come from educators as moms, and Amanda's an amazing educator. And I think, there's really so much that we owe to the educators of this world, like Amanda and like my mom and like Chris's mom in the past. So really grateful for the partnership, excited for tomorrow. Couldn't think of a better way to end our World Logic Day. We're a small but mighty team. Thank you to every single person that came and spoke and shared your expertise. And for those of you that we will see inside of the United Nations tomorrow, it's going to be really special. I think SJ was here all day. She'll be there tomorrow. I think Emily was here for, some of you stuck this out for 10 hours with us, which is just wild. So grateful to each and every one of you for helping us champion logic and peace and yes, SDG for education. So thank you for a wonderful World Logic Day and hope to see many of you next year and those of you that are joining us in person. And Amanda, I'll see you in the big building tomorrow. So